So you've just finished a huge renovation. You've got the new kitchen in there, the property's been freshly painted, and now you're wondering, do you take the profits and run, or do you hold on to the property for the long term and rent it out? Today I want to answer that exact question. So over the last 4 months, me personally, I've been doing one of the biggest renovations we've personally undertaken. We've rebuilt walls, we've put in new kitchens, new bathrooms, new flooring, you name it, we've pretty much done it to this property. It's been a major project and something that I'm quite proud of now that we're edging our way towards the end. And along the way, probably one of the most common questions I've been asked is, when are you going to sell it? When's it going on the market? What do you reckon it will sell for? And it really got me thinking, what are the numbers? What does it look like if we sell it and put it on the market and take our profits? What does that look like? And especially, what does that look like after tax if we were to sell it straight away? Versus, what happens if we hold on to it? What does that residual income look like? So, first of all, I want to show a couple of little clips of the property and the work we've been doing. It's been a pretty mammoth effort. We've knocked down walls. It's been very far from a paint and profit. A lot of structural work going to this property, but it hasn't been without its rewards. Now that we're nearing the end, we can really start to see that finished product coming to life, and it's something we're really excited about to be bringing to the market. But the market as a sales product or the market as a rentals product, we're still undecided. So that's why I want to jump into this spreadsheet and crunch some numbers with you so you can see what I look at when I am looking to hold or sell a property and what the numbers look like on this particular deal. So let's jump into the spreadsheet and take a look. So the question does become, should you sell and cash out of the project, or hold on and receive that rental income over time? So this is what I want to break down in this spreadsheet. I want to start by saying this property was extremely profitable, but it wasn't without its blood, sweat, tears, and maybe even moments of lost dignity during the reno. So this property, we ended up buying it for $240,000, which was essentially land value. By the time we paid stamp duties and legals, that was $8,200, and we spent $61,000 on the renovation. So in total, we're in it just shy of $310,000, plus a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I don't want to minimize that because we did put a lot of our blood, sweat, and tears into this property. But our total financial investment was $309,000. Now the market valuation on this property, now that once it's complete, it's nearly there, will be around $460,000. So that's a profit of $150,000. So you can see that is a big golden egg, and why people would really see the advantage of taking that and run and cashing in that $150,000 and calling it a day. It's certainly an attractive profit, but it's a profit that I think's worth having a look at the other side of the coin, because once you sell that asset, it no longer has the opportunity to go up in value as the market improves, and you do lose the rental income on it. So to jump over to the rental income of this property, essentially our council rates, our insurance, our water comes to $3,690. Our borrowing costs, we've got a loan on this property of $191,000. So essentially we took out an 80% loan on the purchase price and we paid cash for the renovations. So our interest payable each year on that property is $5,940. That's on the current loan amount. So our total holding costs to hold onto this property currently costs us $9,600 per year. Now this property, if we were to take it to the rental market tomorrow, would achieve $550 a week, so $28,600 a year, which leaves us a positive cash flow of almost 19,000. So straight away you can look at the profit of 150,000. That's if you sold the property, you cashed out of the asset, or you could have the cash flow of 19,000 coming in each year. So that's a trade-off at the start. So you're looking either 19,000 every year for the next 30 years, or you take the 150 straight off the bat. So to break this down further, so the profit is really only half the equation here. The other thing that really needs to take into consideration is the tax. Tax is a big thing in Australia. Taxman does not miss you, but there is some huge tax advantages to property in Australia. And this is where the advantages of holding onto the property that little bit longer really come into play. So essentially, if we were to sell that property straight away, we'd take our 150 grand profit, but by the time the taxman does his thing, he'd take nearly 70,000 of the profit. So he'd take essentially 45% of the profits, which would leave us a profit of 82,000. Now, if you were to hold on to that property and own it for longer than 12 months, there is a big capital gains discount, and essentially the tax you're paying is halved. So rather than just walking away with 82,000 after tax, if we were to hold longer than 12 months, that increases by 34,000 to 116,000. So a real noticeable difference there in the actual profits you walk away with if you hold for longer than 12 months. That's a big tick towards renting the property out, is if you do hold on to it for longer than that 12 months, you are getting that capital gains discount on the tax payable. To hold on to the property, essentially, as mentioned above, our income would be 18,000 per year. If we minus tax from this equation, essentially our income comes down to 10,400. So comparing that to selling the property at day one, we essentially only need to hold on to the property for 8 years to be better off and make more money out of it purely from the rental income than we would be from selling. So 8 years isn't a long time period. Certainly the renovations will still be quite fresh. There'll be no need to update the kitchen, no need to update the bathrooms, but already after 8 years we're better off holding on to it. And that's not including any rent increases over that time. So that's another big tick box towards holding on to the property versus taking that profit and run and losing a big chunk of it to the taxman. Further to this, there's a big advantage to holding on to the property, and that's that we can refinance out. And by refinancing it out the profits, we can essentially take the profits out of that property without having to pay the taxman a single cent. So essentially where we're pulling the equity out, borrowing that money from the bank, accessing our profits and not paying the taxman any of those profits, which is certainly a very appealing thing, especially if you're looking at building a portfolio and not looking to stop at one property, but looking at owning a number of investment properties. So what does this look like? So essentially the market valuation on the property would be around 460. We owe 191,000 against the property. Essentially the banks, without paying lenders mortgage insurance, will let you borrow up to 80% of the value. So 80% of the value of 460 is your 368. We've got the loan already secured against it of 191, so that means that we could refinance 177,000 out of this property. So we could take that 177,000 out of the property and use that towards another deal. Obviously, we still need to pay the bank back those funds and would be paying interest on those funds, but we are able to access that profit tax-free without paying 45% tax on it. So there's a big positive there to refinancing out the deal. The last big factor that I think is really, really important is the bigger the asset base you have, and as the market improves, that asset base is going to go up in value. So by holding on to that property, it's going to see value increase over time. So to work this out, sort of to base it on a conservative growth of say 5%, within a 10-year period, we've seen the value go from 460,000 to 713,000. So that's a difference of 250,000. Now, we know we can go in and put a new kitchen in there for 10 or 15,000. We know we can put a bathroom in for 10 or 15,000. So even if there is wear and tear on the property over that 10 years, that wear and tear is not going to be to the value of 253,000. So that's therefore we're well better off holding on to that property over that period, experiencing those gains, and that's really going to add to our position. Obviously, as well as you hold on to it for that 10-year period, you're going to have that rental income. And in this example, I've just left the income as a fixed rate of $550 per week. But in reality, the rental prices are going to increase as will the sale prices. So your rental income is going to be a lot bigger than the 189,000 factored in. So by holding on for 10 years, our asset of 460,000 almost that doubles in value by the time you include the rental income. So we've gone from 460 to 443,000. So comparing that to the 150,000 of selling it, we're almost doubling the value of that property, and that is all pure profit. So 150,000 if we were to sell today, 443,000 if we were to hold on for 10 years with a sale price growth of 5% per annum and ignoring any rental growth. So an interesting example, and an example of why I think there's a huge advantage to holding on to property, especially if you have just renovated, you've had made some serious profits. Look at refinancing those profits out. Look at how you can put that money to work without paying exorbitant amounts of tax and really locking in that income. Now, I hope this video has made some sense for you and given you my thoughts on why we're going to hold on to this property rather than take the quick money and sell it. Hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure you give me a like, subscribe to the channel. We put out a heap of content on this channel and love bringing you new videos. I look forward to pumping out a heap of new videos in the new year, and I'll talk to you soon.